Great. Have you all learned something? I mean, come on, definitely, right? there was parts of the talks this morning that were in Latin, or at least it seemed like that to me. It looks like we are very close to the talk. Are you ready to go?
Almost.
Almost. Fantastic.
Almost.
Okay. In which case, I'm going to shill one of my own video projects. John's is from St. Lucia, and I recently went there in January. I obviously can't afford to go to St. Lucia. My girlfriend's dad paid for it. But I went there and I tried to give out Bitcoin to people, and I filmed the sort of reactions and things. And John's, I need to send you it first. It is actually hilarious. Like, genuinely, like the first interaction I had was, I was like, hey, like, oh, do you know what this thing is on my T-shirt? It was like a Bitcoin, you know, it looked like that, for example. And she was like, Bitcoin? I don't want no Bitcoin. And I was like, no, Bitcoin with a hard T. And, you know, chaos ensued. So yeah, that's a video that I'm really looking forward to uploading to YouTube and Twitter, and I'm trying to work out actually how to upload it directly to Nostr. So if anyone knows how to compress files down for Nostr, then please do let me know. It would really help me out. And yeah, I think that's bought us 40 seconds or so. 30 more seconds. Another video is coming out next week from Senegal. This is on Cointelegraph's YouTube channel. As you've probably noticed, I'm a Bitcoin maxi, or only talk and like to focus on Bitcoin projects, sorry. And I used to work for Bloomberg before working for Cointelegraph, and with Bloomberg I was based in sub-Saharan African countries. And I basically told Cointelegraph that I want to do the same thing I did for Bloomberg, but for Bitcoin on the Cointelegraph platform. And so I've ended up bouncing around lots of interesting places around the world. One of them was Senegal. I spent 3 months there last year, and they hosted a really big Bitcoin forum in early December, and I sort of asked them why they're doing it, why people are using Lightning, why they don't like their own currency, that sort of thing. And this video should be out on Monday, I'm told, on the Cointelegraph platform. There's a few other mini documentaries on there. One's from Gibraltar, which is where Zappo Bank is based. Wences Casares, that name might mean a thing. People know of Wences? They used to call him, wait, what did they used to call him? Was it Agent Z or something like that? Does anyone know this reference? No, I'll find out and correct it in a second. So yeah, and the sort of Knut Svanholm calls me the Trojan horse at Cointelegraph, because you know I'm the only sort of Bitcoiner there. There are a few other ones, but they're lonely voices. How are we doing for time now?
I think we're doing great, man.
Awesome. Okay. Please welcome Rockstar devs to the stage. This is the last talk of today. It's been a fantastic day so far. Don't forget the drinks, and 9 o'clock tomorrow, or 9 to 9:45. Round of applause, please.
Thank you. No, man, this was actually all the punishment for you, because you declared Jonah's presentation as the prettiest one before giving me a chance. Come on, you know. It looks nice, right? And thank you for coming to FOSS is the Way presentation. Like, I will make it really quick to get you to drinks and close this beautiful day, because I think today's day and all the presentations like demonstrated why FOSS is the way. Like, you have all these people working individually, contributing, and sharing the lessons they've come up with all of us. So before I get to the main part of the talk, like, yeah, most of you that know me from my Twitter account. I actually see some followers in the audience, like, you're recording. But unfortunately, yeah, account is dead, so I would suggest that you switch to my GitHub account, but that one also, like, kind of died, you know, over the last year. Luckily, there is now Nostr. Who here is on Nostr? Oh my God, nice. This will be a good shot. So those of you that didn't raise hands, yeah, go to iris.to. It's in a browser. If you have iPhone, you have Damus, and there are some Android apps. But iris.to/Rockstar, and you'll find me there. So yeah, died but still alive. Besides my social media presence, yeah. Professionally, I've been in software engineering for over 2 decades. I've done US startups the last 13 years, and really been in Bitcoin since 2012, but only last 6 years I've been actively contributing to free open source software. Most of my reputation comes from BTC Pay Server when I joined Nicholas's mission to obsolete BitPay. I think we're doing pretty well so far, right? What would you say? Yeah? Yeah, let's go. No, I mean, it's been a phenomenal journey since 2017. And then when it comes to Strike, Strike really started from Alan Zapp, which was also a FOSS project. And my internet nephew, Jack Mallers, came to me in 2019. He said, Ank, I want to do a startup. Can you help me do that? I know you have experience. I said, of course. And 4 years later, here we are. We have a country declaring Bitcoin a legal tender. We have like a really successful startup going. But that was a free open source software team as well, and a lot of lessons to learn from there. My own journey in Strike, I've coded the whole Strike backend initially, first year and a half, and then switched to more of a traditional VP of engineering role, where I hired 80 engineers, structured them into teams. One of them is here with us today, Shane. Yeah, great job. But now I'm more in a strategic position as head of Bitcoin, where internally I take care that culture of Bitcoin lives within the company, and that everyone that joins us understands that Strike was built by Bitcoin in a sense. And then externally, big reason why I'm here, I work on our nonprofit initiatives. So everyone that's in FOSS and that's maybe struggling to fund their work, I'm your guy. After this talk, please approach me. Let's converse. Let's discuss, and let's see which of the lessons that I've learned over the years are applicable to you. On the other hand, also, I don't know how many people here are struggling to find developers that need funding, but if there are people like that in this room or later watching the video, also consider reaching out to make sure that your donations don't go towards funding this crypto, that crypto ICO, but rather go to the work that will stay for the long run. This talk, basically we have 5 categories which I'm going to tackle, and really what I want to do is talk about whatever I talk about, like to give a personal example, like a situation I've been in and how I have dealt with that situation, how I've resolved certain struggles with a hope of inspiring you and maybe getting you to come approach me and like let's talk. Maybe you're running into the same problem, maybe not, maybe you have unique problems, and I really want to approach that from the perspective of like 3 categories, like individual lessons, things that I've learned that I as an individual and FOSS project can tackle, team lessons, like what happens with the team is, for example, like FOSS projects is succeeding. Sometimes success is worse than a failure, like you arrive to new challenges. And then finally, most importantly, like funding, how to make it into sustainable efforts so that you never feel like you're giving more to FOSS than you're getting back. And a quick preview of those 10 lessons. With the last one, I'm leaving as a surprise, and really let's go through them. As I say, like in each one of these, I want to tell my personal story, and this one is foundational. Like I have been contributing to FOSS not only for the last 6 years, but most of my career. So when I look back, I ask, why is it that on BTC Pay Server I had such a big break? And I've realized that that's in a large part because previously, whenever I would join FOSS project, I would try to demonstrate excellence. I would try to demonstrate my own skills, with the hope that as people see those skills and contributions, they will realize that I'm valuable, and that would lead towards relationship with people, respect of peers, all that good stuff. However, on BTC Pay Server, what I've done is I've just focused on a relationship since day one. Like, I've realized that I don't need to become a better coder than Nicholas. You know, if I find guy inspiring and want to work with him, hey, you know, we don't need to start measuring who is better programmer, who is not. Like, we can just focus on a relationship and then work together. The second big thing that I realized on BTC-based server is that I really needed a separate identity. Like, I didn't identify as who I am in personal life, as who I am in my work life. Like, I needed that separate identity where I would feel free to express my FOSS contributions in a complete way. And, you know, nowadays that's even useful with all the nonsense that's going on from legal side, where developers are unfortunately getting sued for their FOSS contributions and held liable. But that served me really well, and I really encourage everyone before going deeper into FOSS effort, like even starting it, to look and understand their own motivations, and that will also help you in choosing the right project. You know, and if you don't feel like it's a perfect fit yet, just don't settle, keep looking. Because when you do find project that you like you need to bring the best, your best version of yourself. And again, personal example, I mean, everyone that looks to contribute with code when it comes to Bitcoin looks at Bitcoin Core, right? Like, you want that prestige, you want to contribute to the biggest project. But for me, when I looked at it, I was realistic in a sense that I can write C++ code, but there were already so many great contributors on that project. And for me, on the other hand, so I had a choice between Bitcoin Core as a big project with already great contributors, and on the other hand, this small project where there is just one person coding. And in retrospect, it was a great decision. But you need to be comfortable to make the same decision. And if you are not bringing your best skill to the project, but rather you are joining a project or starting a project in order to develop a skill, like, really focus on it. Like, if you never wrote world-class test suite and you're joining a FOSS project in order to really develop that skill, like, stick with it. Don't go in temptation that, like, oh, I'll review PRs, I'll do documentation, I'll project manage also. And finally, yeah, smaller teams, they're much better for that development. Pace the tempo. This one is also very important. I really took time to get into the rhythm on BTC Pay server. A lot of people make that big decision of contributing to FOSS, and it's like, okay, for next 7 days, I'm gonna work all day on it, and then they burn out, unfortunately. With me, I took first 7 days just talking with Nicholas about how crazy he was to translate, I mean, re-implement Bitcoin Core from C++ to C#. Like, there are some funny moments there because you needed to replicate SSL, like bugs in that open SSL. Does anyone remember that? That Bitcoin Core was like so thoroughly tested that we discovered an error in, like, SSL, the way it worked. Yeah. And then because it was only C++ and C#, you needed to, like, implement bugs. Yeah, fun times. So pace yourself, like, find that tempo. Is it 1 hour a day? Is it 2 hours a day? What is it that you can give constantly, rather than show up one day, then don't show up for 10 days? Because as soon as you join a project that's more than one person, like 2, 3 people, they depend on you of showing up every day. And finally, like, be honest with yourself if you can sustain it. I know that BTC Pay server looks amazing from the outside, but again, personal thing. For over 2 years, like, I had, like, zero monetary compensation for working on BTC Pay server, and I realized that I can sustain it. Someone else maybe can't, and this is where you need to define what is that time frame that you can invest. And, you know, you don't succeed, you still produce something that will be valuable for people. But yeah, make sure that you can sustain, and then also situations change. Now, maybe you could have sustained it, situation changed, you need to go back to fiat mining, fiat job, like do that. Because in the end, switching back to teams, like team is the most important, especially because FOSS really only works in culture of merit. Like people, everyone in the team will evaluate you every day. And not only people in the team, but people on Twitter, people on now Nostr, people like all over the place. And that pressure is intense on like a lot of FOSS contributors. Yeah, this is where my role as an uncle comes in, and I DM them, I ask how they're doing, because a lot of them, yeah, they like publish a new feature and then people yell at them because it doesn't do exactly what certain people want to do. Be on a lookout, yeah, for situations where contributors like individually feel like they're giving more than they're getting. That is really important, because if there is ever this balance, it needs to be aligned. It needs to be like, if your project is successful, you will start having situations where individuals will now try to leverage project for their own gain, which is good, because you want people to grow. You want people to expand what they're doing, but not jeopardizing the team and what team is doing. And that's where also personal example, I told Nicholas Polonix at Cooks that if I ever feel like I am giving to BTC Pay Server way more than I'm getting, like, I'll take myself out. And it works the other way as well. Like, that's very important. If you feel like you're giving way too more than you're getting, like, get out of that situation. And like, luckily in Bitcoin, we have a great example of Gavin Andreessen, who lost the team and other contributors like way before he like called it quits. So don't be Gavin. Yeah. The bigger you grow, the more structure you need. Yeah, like if you are getting into FOSS in order to like not have structure, please don't grow beyond team of one. Like, keep it a solo project, because 90% of FOSS projects are just like solo person. Up to 2 it can work, but only in situation where it's clear like who is making the decision. As soon as you have 5 people, you need not too much formal structure, but these basics of weekly meetings, one-on-ones, and then quarterly goals. Otherwise, yeah, information overload is going to kick your ass. It's just, people will start arguing like, I've done this, what have you done? Like, they'll be out of sync. All that fun stuff that you probably experienced not only on FOSS projects, but in companies as well, right? And at 5 people, like I always say, hey, there needs to be a PM. Whether it's, you call that person product manager, project manager, janitor. I know it's popular now, right, Jonas? So whatever is the name, like, someone needs to conceptually keep the project in sync and chase all the developers that are chasing a shiny new feature that is completely uncoordinated with design or users. And this is where I encourage people to look into frameworks. Like one of my favorite ones is this, like, team size and formalization of processes, where you have like solo projects with just one person. Developer gets hit by bus, project is over. Although someone always forks it, right? It continues going. But then monarchy, which is what I would call, BTC Pay Server is really between monarchy and community. I mean, we have Emperor Nicholas, right? And community, like in monarchy, you have that person who's like making decisions, like breaking the ties. And in community, it is like a democracy where everyone has representation based on the merit and their contributions. Finally, corporate and foundation are more for corporate is like red hat, and foundation is like when you don't want it tied to certain corporation, but as a separate entity. And this is like projects that have 50 contributors and more. And know when it is time to transform. Like, as your project is succeeding, you will need, as I said in previously, you need more structure. And this is where I credit Jack Mallers like a lot. He found the perfect time to transition from FOSS team that Alan Zapp was into startup. And this one is from Paul Graham. Be a cockroach, not a unicorn, because cockroaches survive. And I always bring up that with BTC Pay Server, BTC Pay Server will always be around because Nicholas will run the instance, right? He'll also be posting on Twitter. You will see him, so there is no way for BTC Pay Server to fail. And as you're succeeding, like people will team will try to extend, individuals will try to extend, but always keep coming back to basics. And remember, survive, keep going, and unicorns, they don't even exist. So why would you want to be a unicorn? Finally, funding. Little known fact is that BTC Pay Server, from day one, had supporters. Now, non-monetary supporters. But BitPay just gave them to us. I mean, they literally upset their whole community by announcement that they'll all be switching to Segway 2X and have no say in it. So you had merchants who were processing millions of dollars yearly, just begging for a solution to which they can switch, and as soon as BTC Pay Server was available, they switched. Now, none of them at that point could have afford, say, to give us 3% of their transactions, but they retweeted our stuff. They liked it. They pointed people to what we are doing, and eventually, when volume allowed it, like they did, some of them turned into our donors. So really understand why people are supporting you. Most often, people are supporting you just because of your reputation. Like you're a good advertisement for them. But this will really help you focus on donors and allow yourself to hit the right goals. Like if you're getting a donor that you know will not renew next year, you shouldn't focus on the fact that it will not renew next year. You should focus on the fact that you have now 12 months with this company, individual, whoever it is, to delight them. They will not be able to impact your roadmap beyond that year. So, and when you do that, that's where from them you're going to get referral, or sometimes it will turn into renewal. And then when you do have someone who is your supporter long term, you really need to reevaluate, do you have a donor or you have a partner? In a sense that we at BTC Pay Server are lucky to be supported by a lot of entities. And some of these entities have supported us for multiple years. But this is why, we every year send them yearly report. Every few months we reach out. Every talk that we are giving, we try to include a slide to thank them for their support. And you should do the same, and then see with each supporter why they're supporting you and understand that. This one is really helped me because FOSS is all about reputation in the end when it comes to how much you're funded. And a lot of people focus and say stuff like, oh, if only I worked for Facebook. I go to levels.io and I see that L5 engineer is making 500K when you have base, bonuses, stock options, and everything else. If you're really thinking about that and focusing, you should do it. That's the goal you should aim for. And then go for a hybrid approach where you can build your reputation in FOSS. Because FOSS will open different doors. Even at this conference, what Leon is doing is he is highlighting all the FOSS contributors. It's not as much people who work for companies being really closed source. It is FOSS contributors. So a lot of doors will be open to you, Bitcoin Miami. There are free tickets for FOSS contributors. So a lot of doors will be open to you, but you need to go through those doors, not wish for a different door. And just make it easy for people to support your work. If you're a FOSS contributor here and you're not funded and you don't have a GitHub, let's do a little experiment after this talk. Like, let's open GitHub sponsors, and Uncle can be your first supporter. Like, you know, we can do that. So Noster, oh my God, with Zaps. Did you saw Jack Dorsey with his million sad Zaps? Yeah, did you get it? Oh, you got it. Okay, I got it too, but I sent him back. Like, I doubled just to show off. Yeah. Oh, one set. Okay. So we're not doing FOSS contributors, we're like sending zaps to Jack Dorsey after. Okay, we'll go for there. Yeah, bear market. Oh, this bear market is brutal. It's the worst time for both you and your supporters. So just get ahead of it, because the worst thing that's happening in the bear market is not that only FOSS contributors are losing funding. You have previously stable foundations and nonprofits that are going not out of business, but out of function, and are no longer supporting developers they were supporting. So really get ahead of it, and this is where treasury management is critical. Like, that 1 year is the goal. I know for a lot of people you can, there is a struggle to get even multiple months, but that 1 year is the goal. And more importantly, like on this is, there were a few projects in this bear market, I mean, in every, that blow up because they were like 100% Bitcoin. And they have expenses denominated in USD. Like, keep in mind, like, you're a FOSS contributor, you're not a degen trader. So yes, Bitcoin will go up, but just don't do that. Like, don't gamble with funds. And if you really believe that much in Bitcoin, go for 50-50. But definitely make sure that you first have enough of currency that your expenses are denominated in, and keep it like that. And in bear market, it's all about renewals. Like, reach out to your supporters, be open, be honest, and maybe they can't renew at existing terms, but maybe they can renew at 50%. Bless you. Finally, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, that's the thing that I see in a lot of cases. Like, people apply for one grant, they get rejected, and then that just destroys them. We are very lucky that, especially recently, there are more and more foundations, and there are more and more leaders in those foundations that are every day fighting tooth and nail to, get more funds and send them to FOSS. Like, and these are some of those people, like with Steve Lee, our dear Moneyball. Like, when you look at Spiral, like, more than $7 million given over these few years, it's really impressive. And yeah, even here in the room, there are a few Spiral grantees. So HRF is really picking up the steam. What Alex Gladstein is doing is phenomenal. They're catching up with Spiral, and if we can get one or two more Steves and Alexes, we will be great. Chain Code has been around for a long time. They're like steady going, and Adam Jonas, what he's doing, like, is great, even though Chain Code is much more, but he's kind of face of Chain Code in my view. And then home team, Brink. Anyone from Brink here? No? Leon, we need to get them here, yeah. Like, I was hoping for a round of applause for home team, right? Can we get it? Yeah. And for Mike Schmidt, yeah, the work he's been doing. And then, besides that, OpenSets, Ben Price and Matt Odell, they're warming up. They're mostly focused on legal stuff with all those funds raised for Hodlland, but I'm sure they're going to repeat it for devs. And then, Jeremy, are you still here? Jeremy needed to leave. Yeah, but BitMEX research, really, like, we're standing on shoulders of giants, because of what Jonathan and Jeremy and others did in BitMEX research was phenomenal back in 2017, starting from there. Finally, to close this presentation, when I say FOSS is the way, like, I literally mean it. I mean it in the sense that it's the only way. You can look at browsers, you can look at operating systems, you can look at money now, you can look at social networks. It's obvious that as software is eating the world, so open source is eating software. And that's not a coincidence, because as us cypherpunks say, information doesn't just want to be free, it longs to be free. And it will be free in a sense that I believe eventually all code will be open. Which is a good thing, because it will allow us, like it allowed in cryptography, it will allow us to build more scalable and robust systems. So once you do realize that FOSS is inevitable, like, step up and take your place. You know, luckily we have conferences like this, we have gatherings, we have groups. Find who is your support group, like, take your place and, you know, lean on your community, on your teammates. If you don't have anyone, lean on Uncle Rockstar. And let's build FOSS future together. Thank you.
I imagine there's going to be questions here. Wonderful talk, by the way, Rockstar Dev. That was really inspiring. Are there questions for... No questions?
No, everyone is waiting for drinks.
I guess so, yeah. No, I got my beer brought to me, so thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Let's do that. Let's close up and let's go for drinks, and we'll do Q&A session up there. How about that?
What he said.
Hey,
Sounds great.
let's go.
And yeah, thank the sponsors maybe as well, and Leon for doing a great job. I mean, Freddy, of course, Fortress and Ledger, these guys made it all possible today. So thank you very much for them. Yeah. See you for drinks, and then tomorrow between 9 and 9:45. Thanks so much, everyone, and hope you have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.